Alright guys, this is my escort build. This is not my main character. This was the second character I started, and so I'm not as far along. I don't have some of the traits and specializations that my main does, but she's already kind of outperforming my main, at least in the escort role. Don't pay any attention to my ground stuff, because I don't do ground on this character. So, this is my ship. This is the Fleet Intel Warbird. I'm currently doing AP on it. I have 4 AP DVBs, Epic Mark 14 in the front. The big debate between crit D and damage, which is better. Who's to say? I don't have the resources to get perfect mods, so this is what I'm rolling with. I got any combination of crit D, damage, and pen I consider good enough for me. Got the Ancient Omni Beam in the back from the mission reward, the Kinetic Cutting Beam, and a crafted Anti-Proton Beam. I would have liked to have pen on it, but it didn't roll that way, and I don't feel like making any more of them. Engines and stuff, we got Iconian set for that sweet, sweet damage buff on the 4-piece, as well as the 3-piece. Tactical consoles, I got 5 AP locators. Science consoles, I'm running weapon signature nullifiers, plasma generating with EPG. The EPG is for the science abilities that you'll see here in a minute. These, by the way, hit for 4,332.7 a pop that ignore shields. Nothing to sneeze at, and they proc a lot with 3 of them. I got binaural infusion circuits, some critical severity, hull caps, nice, sure, why not, some control expertise too. Plasmonic leech, finally available on console, gotta have it. A simulated module, this is some crit chance, crit severity, a little bit of hull regen, control expertise, sure, why not. And it also has the 2-piece with the kinetic cutting beam, which, as you can see, gives all of your weapons the weapon amplifier, which is it doesn't list it on the tooltip anymore, the Omega amplifier. But anyway, it gives you a 2.5% chance to it is 2.5% applies to Omega weapon amplifier when firing injury weapons, 5% chance, plus 15% all energy damage for 8 seconds to allies within 10 kilometers, stacks up to 3 times. Anyway, it's good. I'll let you read that, because I don't appear to be able to read tonight. Stats. I am running all superior round operatives for my bridge crew, so I got a base crit and crit severity of 32 and 134.8 respectively. Very, very nice. Hull, typical escort. Nothing to write home about, but with a good team, you're good to go. I don't generally have to worry about it too much. Shields and shield regen are pretty damn good for an escort as I run the Science Ultimate, which we'll see here in a minute. Not much for resistances, but again, good team. It really doesn't matter. Stations. These are all superior round operatives. I recently, within the last couple of days, just started running attrition warfare on this, so some of these may be subject to change in the near future. I have engineering team, hazard emitters, because I need hull heals to make attrition warfare work. My tactical slot here, tactical team 2, attack pattern beta 1, firewheel 3, nothing unusual there. These 2 may change at some point. It's not a science ship, so they're not going to do amazing damage, but they do some, and I have the embassy consoles with EPG that are going to increase the little bit of damage they do. For engineering slot, I got emergency powered shields, emergency powered weapons. For my tactical intel slot, I got intelligence team. This will help me manage my threat level, because I will be running threatening stance all the time in order to make attrition warfare work. These 2 may change. Well, this one won't. Override subsystem safety's got to have it. It's an amazing buff. It puts my weapon power up in the 160, 170 range temporarily. this might change. I was looking up abilities online today and just seeing what other intel abilities were viable for PvE, and this does help against some bigger targets, and they have the health to stick around long enough for it to matter. Attack pattern Omega, nothing to hate about it. Damage buff, resistance buff, flight speed, turn rate, nothing to not like about it. Let's see. For skills, we have, again, Science Ultimate, and the main reason for that is the probability manipulation. If you don't know what that is, it basically increases your crit chance for a small period of time. And then I don't take probability shell as I don't need it, and don't want to put any more points into science than I have to. What I take is the probability penetration. Actually, I just respect and I haven't even purchased them yet. Look at that. So what I take is probability penetration and probability window. And what those do is probability penetration adds a stacking damage resistance debuff when you critically hit. So to foes hit by your critical hits, you get -10 all damage resistance for 20 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. That's quite a debuff. Probability window extends the duration to by 15 seconds. So basically, a third of the time I have probability manipulation up. It is a minute and a half. It's 30-second ability, and then you got another minute before you can cast it again if you take window. You've got all your shield stuff, your drain expertise helps your leech, control expertise if I ever slotted gravity well or anything. Shield hardness, shield regen. Again, mostly this stuff is here to get that 26 points for probability manipulation. This is going to help my little science abilities. And sure, why not? Targeting sensors. Scientific readiness. Some of those science abilities got some pretty hefty cooldowns, so that always helps. In engineering, I took power level stuff mainly. Warp core potential, so that's going to get me powered all subsystems. Offensive subsystem tuning, because you need that weapon power. EPS, DPS, baby. Anyway. EPS flow, again, same reason. Impulse expertise, little flight speed, little turn rate. Right now, turn rate is broken on consoles, so every little bit helps. And then 2 points in hull restoration to make my hull heals go a little farther. Tactical, you really don't need all that much. Took the 3 points in energy weapon training. So I've seen people do this different. Some people put all 3 here and 1 here. Some people 3 here, 1 there. I just did 2 and 2. 2 grit, 2 severity. And I took all 3 points in hull penetration. And that's it for the tactical tree. Specializations, strategist intel. Again, like I said, this is not my main. I do not have everything filled out. I have the space passives filled out, and then strategist. I have enough for attrition warfare, and I have 4 points that I haven't spent yet. But again, I may go to temporal later on, but as I said, this is an alt, and I don't have as many specialization points as my main. For captain skills, as we noticed before, I just respect and hadn't even picked my points in probability manipulation yet. But ground skills, I don't do ground on this character, so I haven't even filtered out. Traits. Personal traits, I got Romulan Operative, Last Ditch Effort, Singularity Specialist, Beam Training, Fleet Coordinator, Innocuous, Operative, Warp Theorist, and Shield Technician. I'm currently working in R&D to get 15 beams and 15 science for those traits, and that will probably replace these 2 once I acquire them. Active Reputation, I only have 3 space ones, so those 3 are slotted, plus a random ground one. We just got the new reps or whatnot, so we'll see what those bring. Ground, we don't care. Space Reputation, this is a great trade if you don't know what it is. It returns 2.5% of your outgoing damage as a hull heal. It saved my butt many a times. We got Precision, crit chance, advanced targeting system, crit severity, and enhanced armor penetration. Yeah. Starship traits, we got Supremacy, this is kind of here because, again, it's an alt. I don't have many traits, and I really don't have anything else to put there. Then we have all hands on deck, emergency weapons cycle, fantastic trait. Supremacy, I actually just got another Astika this morning, and got the mastery on it so that I could get this trait on this character. Now, that's pretty much it. That's the build. It can be translated to the Phantom Escort on the Federation side if you have one of those, but don't have the ship or don't have a Romulan. It's pretty easy to do. Console layout on the fleet versions is identical. The non-fleet versions is a little bit different. The non-fleet Intel Warbird has 3 science, 2 engineering, whereas the Phantom has 3 engineering, 2 science in the non-fleet version. The crew stations are a bit different. The Warbird obviously has the Lieutenant Intel Engineering with a Lieutenant Commander Science, whereas the Phantom is the opposite with a Lieutenant Commander Engineering and a Lieutenant Intel Science. But other than that, they're pretty similar ships. The equipment layout, I've done the same build on the Intel Escort as well. It's a very good ship. It was my first ship that I played with. I did recently acquired a Vadwaar Astika for my main, my Federation character. That would be a build video coming out on that in the near future. It's not going to look a whole lot different than this gear-wise. I think it has 1 more engineering slot and 1 less science slot, but the crew stations are significantly different, so it'll be something else, something different. I like the ship. It hits hard like the 5 forward weapon slots or whatnot. So yeah, that's my build. If you enjoyed it or have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to ask.